Getting the approval email for a Singapore government grant feels like the finish line. In reality, it is the starting line. A huge number of small business owners underestimate what happens after approval, and that gap is exactly where support quietly slips away. Here is the part almost nobody explains upfront. Most Singapore business grants are reimbursement based, which means the government does not hand you cash to go and spend. You pay your vendor first out of your own pocket, and only then do you claim a portion back. That single fact changes how you should plan your cash flow, your timeline, and your paperwork from day one. In the next few minutes, we will walk through what reimbursement really means, the letter of offer and the conditions attached to it, project milestones and deliverables, the documentation you have to keep, how a claim is submitted and evaluated, and the common reasons claims get reduced or rejected, all in plain English. One important note before we start, this channel is educational only. We are not a government agency, we are not affiliated with or endorsed by Go Business Enterprise Singapore or any other government body, and nothing here is official advice. Claim procedures, deadlines, and supporting document requirements are all set by the authorities and differ from grant to grant. So treat everything in this video as background and always confirm the current claim rules on the official source, gobusiness.gov.sg, before you rely on any of it. Pay the vendor first. Let us start with the mechanic that catches people out. Most Singapore business grants are reimbursement based, so you pay the vendor first and claim a share back afterwards. The grant does not arrive as an advance you can spend. You engage your supplier, you receive the goods or the service. You pay the invoice in full from your own funds, and only then does the supporting agency reimburse the approved portion. That means your business needs the working capital to cover the whole project upfront, even though a slice of it is coming back later. Owners who assume the money lands in their account on approval get an unpleasant surprise when the first vendor bill is due. So plan for the gap. Line up your cash so you can pay in full and wait, because the reimbursement only follows genuine, completed, paid-for spending. This is simply how the authorities make sure public money supports real projects that actually happen. Once you accept that you pay first and claim later, almost everything else about the process starts to make sense. The letter of offer. After your application is approved, you receive what is usually called the letter of offer, and this document is the rulebook for everything that follows. Read it slowly because it defines the deal in precise terms. The letter of offer typically sets out the approved project scope, the amount of support and the funding cap, the period during which your project must take place, the milestones you have to hit, the documents you will need to submit, and the deadline for your claim. It often comes with a set of terms and conditions that you formally accept before the project can start. Whatever is written in that letter is what you will be held to. If a cost is not in the approved scope, it will not be reimbursed, no matter how reasonable it feels. If the project period starts on a certain date, spending before that date usually does not count. Treat the letter of offer as your single source of truth for the project. Keep it somewhere you can find it, and reread the conditions before you commit to any expense. When something is unclear, that is a question for the official channel, not a guess. Milestones and deliverables. Most grant-supported projects are built around milestones and deliverables, and understanding the difference matters. A milestone is a checkpoint in your project, a point where a defined stage is meant to be complete. A deliverable is the concrete thing that proves that stage happened, such as a finished website, an installed piece of equipment, a completed training program, or a consultant's final report. The agency is not simply funding your intention to do something. It is funding a project that reaches agreed stages and produces agreed outputs. That is why claiming before delivery is one of the fastest ways to have a claim held back. If the deliverable has not actually been completed and handed over, the spending behind it is not yet claimable, even if you have already paid the vendor. So map your project against the milestones in your letter of offer and make sure the deliverable genuinely exists and is in your hands before you treat that portion as ready to claim. Delivered, paid, and documented is the combination the agency is looking for, and getting the order right keeps everything moving. Keep proper documentation. If there is one habit that decides whether your claim goes smoothly, it is this. Keep proper documentation from the very first day, not scrambled together at the end. A reimbursement claim lives or dies on evidence, and the agency can only reimburse what you can prove. For each item of approved spending, you will generally want the vendor's invoice showing exactly what was purchased, clear proof of payments such as a bank transfer record or a statement showing the money actually left your account, evidence that the deliverable was completed, and the vendor's details so the transaction can be verified. Quotations, contracts, and purchase orders often matter too, especially where the grant required you to compare vendors before choosing one. The golden rule is to document as you go. File every invoice and payment record the moment it happens. Name your files clearly and keep them together in one place tied to the project. When the claim window opens, the owner who kept clean records simply assembles what they already have. Good documentation is boring, and it is exactly what gets you paid. When your project has reached the required stage, it is time to submit your claim, usually through the same official portal you applied on. Most often gobusiness.gov.sg or the relevant agency system. A claim is essentially you telling the agency, here is what I was approved to do. Here is the proof that I did it and paid for it. Please reimburse the approved portion. You will typically fill in a claim form or online submission, list the approved costs you are claiming, and upload the supporting documents for each one. Accuracy counts. The figures in your claim should match the invoices and payment records exactly, and the documents should be complete and readable. Pay very close attention to the claim deadline stated in your letter of offer, because this is a hard edge. Miss the submission window, and the support you were approved for can simply lapse, with no reasonable way to recover it. Prepare the claim well before the final date and submit with time to spare in case something needs to be corrected. A calm, early, complete submission is worth far more than a rushed one at the last minute. How the claim is evaluated. Once submitted, your claim goes through evaluation, and it helps to know what the agency is checking. Broadly, they are confirming three things line up. First, that the spending falls within the approved scope in your letter of offer and not outside it. Second, that the deliverable was genuinely completed, so the project actually produced what it promised. Third, that your evidence supports every dollar, meaning the invoices, proof of payment, and vendor details all match the amounts you are claiming. If everything reconciles, the approved portion is reimbursed to your business through the official channel. If something does not add up, the agency may come back to you with queries, ask for additional documents, adjust the amount, or in some cases, reject a line altogether. How the claim is evaluated, along with how long it takes and exactly what is reviewed, is set by each agency and differs between grants. Respond promptly and completely to any query, keep your tone cooperative, and give them precisely what they ask for. The smoother you make their verification, the smoother your reimbursement tends to be. And the precise steps always come from the official source, not from memory. Why claims get reduced or rejected. Now the part worth memorizing, because most of the pain here is avoidable. Let us name the common reasons claims get reduced or rejected. The first is out-of-scope spending, where you claim for something that was never in the approved project, so it falls outside what the letter of offer allows. The second is missing or weak proof, such as an invoice with no matching payment record, or a payment you cannot clearly evidence left your account. The third is claiming before delivery, treating a cost as claimable when the deliverable has not actually been completed and handed over. The fourth is missing the deadline, letting the claim window in your letter of offer close before you submit. Others include figures that do not match between your claim and your documents and spending made outside the approved project period. Almost everyone traces back to scope, proof, timing, or the conditions in that letter of offer. If you keep your spending inside the approved scope, prove every dollar, only claim what has truly been delivered, and submit before the deadline, you have removed the biggest reasons a claim gets cut. How to get paid smoothly. So how do you actually get paid smoothly? The habits are simple, and they all reinforce each other. Start by reading your letter of offer in full the day you receive it, and note the scope, the project period, the milestones, the required documents, and the claim deadline. Line up your cash flow so you can pay every vendor in full and wait for the reimbursement to follow. Keep proper documentation as you go. Filing each invoice and payment record the moment it happens. Only claim for spending that is inside the approved scope and truly delivered. Submit early, well before the deadline, with complete and readable documents and respond quickly to any query. And above all, confirm on the official source, because the precise claim procedure, the documents required, and the deadlines are all set by the administering agency and change between grants. For most business grants, that is gobusiness.gov.sg or the specific agencies such as enterprises.gov.sg. I want to be clear about one thing. We cannot approve your claim, release your reimbursement, or guarantee any payout, and no one honestly can. What is in your hands is clean records, in scope spending, and an early, complete submission. Quick recap. Let us pull it together. Most Singapore business grants are reimbursement based, so you pay the vendor first out of your own funds and claim the approved portion back afterwards. The letter of offer is your rulebook, defining the scope, the project period, the milestones, the documents, and the claim deadline you will be held to. Your project delivers against milestones and produces real deliverables, and you keep proper documentation, invoices, proof of payment, evidence of delivery, and vendor details from day one. You submit your claim through the official portal before the deadline, and the agency evaluates whether the spending was in scope, whether the deliverable was completed, and whether your evidence supports every dollar. Claims get reduced or rejected mainly for out-of-scope spending, missing proof, claiming before delivery, and deadline misses, all of which are avoidable. And because the exact claim rules, required documents, and timelines are set officially and differ between grants, the live details always come from gobusiness.gov.sg, never from memory. A closing reminder, remember the spirit of this channel. Our job is to hand you the map and the vocabulary so the post-approval stage stops feeling like a maze and you can walk into the official pages already knowing what you are looking at. Approval is not the payout. It is permission to run the project properly, document it well, and claim what you were approved for. Nothing here is a promise that your claim will be paid, that any amount is guaranteed, or that the rule you heard is current, because claim procedures and deadlines genuinely do change and differ from grant to grant. When you are ready, read your letter of offer, keep clean records from day one, and confirm the current claim rules on the official pages at gobusiness.gov.sg. If this made grant claims and reimbursement clearer, subscribe for more plain English Singapore grant explainers, and we will keep turning these schemes into plain English, one scheme at a time, so you can stop leaving support on the table.